Hello and welcome to Market House, the podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name's Caleb.
And I'm Caitlin. And this week we tell you how to prep for a Disney cruise vacation. Let's dive in.
All right, and this is episode number 91, which I can't believe. We are almost to episode 100.
I know.
We have to do something fun for that. But anyways, welcome back, everyone. We're happy to have you here. We are so excited to talk about this subject because, and it's already, again, I always think it's a surprise, but they see the title of the episode.
But still, we're excited.
Yeah, we're very excited. So this
Yeah.
one's going to be fun. We're getting ready for our vacation. Again, we'll dive into this in a little bit. But before we do, let's talk about what we've been up to, which, again, last week you probably heard that we planned on listening to Harry Potter, not listening to watching.
Well, we do listen to it as well, the
Sure,
soundtrack.
yeah, watching Harry Potter, even more enjoyable than listening to it. And instead, we totally did a just audible last minute, and we had never seen Good Will Hunting. And so it was on, what was it on? HBO?
I think so. And it has Robin Williams in it, Matt Damon, like Ben Affleck.
People, it's a classic, so
It
I'm
was
sure
good. It was a
everyone's
little
seen it.
sad, but it was good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Caitlin's a huge Robin Williams fan.
Huge.
So this one, he's a little sad guy in it.
Yeah.
So that was a different character. He won the Oscar for that.
Yeah, he
Best
had a
supporting-
great performance.
Best Supporting Actor. So again, it was a fantastic movie. Just totally flipped it and did an audible at the end there, but it was enjoyable all the less. We're gonna do one tonight, I think, if we can get ready in time for bed. We've got a terrible, terrible habit of making dinner super late, working out super late, all these things, and it compounds into not being ready for bed until 10 o'clock.
Yeah, because then I fall asleep early.
Yeah, which is understandable. It's kind of late to start a movie, so we've got to be better about getting our stuff done before that time so we can enjoy a movie at night.
I agree.
So we'll do that tonight
Okay.
and all that good stuff. Okay, hey, before we dive into today's main section, we're not going to be doing news this week because we're recording a little early. Not enough news has happened to really report on, so we're going to skip that this week, so apologies for that. But hey, before we dive into everything else, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. It is a huge help to the show. And please share this episode with a friend. If they're planning a Disney cruise or just like hearing about Disney stuff, send this over to them so they can hear the show as well.
Yeah, we would really appreciate it.
Super appreciated. And you can also support the show by using our Getaway Today link to book your Disney vacation. So you'll find that in the episode description, the episode details, whatever you want to call it. You click on that, and if you book something with that link, it supports the show. And if you use code MARKETHOUSE10, you'll save an additional $10. All right, let's start talking Disney Cruise Line. Alrighty, that brings us to our main segment of this week's episode, and that is how to prep or prepare for a Disney cruise vacation. So we, as you're listening to this episode, actually, we will be on our cruise.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So weird that we're saying that. Again, we're starting the prep work now, and by the time, when we're recording this, it's a few days before the trip.
Right.
So we're like right in the meat of it. So as you can hear, my brain is just mush right now. I'm thinking about vacation. I'm thinking about finishing up stuff at the house. I'm thinking about finishing stuff up at work. There's just so much that goes into getting away to relax.
I was just going to say I was thinking about dinner.
Okay, let's think about food, which is equally important as all the other things. But again, there's just a ton to prepare for, so it's easy to forget something simple, something that you may, again, not think about or you don't think is important. Again, we're here to remind you of all the things that, you might want to get done at the bare minimum so you can enjoy your Disney cruise vacation, because they're not cheap. They're not easy to plan. So, hey, we want this to be as good of a vacation as it can get.
Yeah, and with it being a Disney cruise vacation, you aren't always, the items that you may forget sometimes aren't as easily accessible as they normally would be if you went to Disney World or Disneyland, because you're going to be on the ocean.
Good point. That is a good point. There's not a Target on board. There's there's merch stores, but they'll charge you, what, $19 for a necessity.
And let me tell you, they don't carry everything.
No.
So it's kind of like if you forget your shirt, that's nice. Or if you forget sweatpants. But other than that, you're on your own.
Yeah.
So.
That's true. Hey, let's start with travel preparation. This is my kind of expertise here. I do all the travel for the most part, 99%. I would say.
And you do an amazing job at it.
Thank you. You don't. Okay. Thank you. But it's a lot. So let's go through what I've been doing in the background, and then we'll dive into what Caitlin's been doing, which is the list of packing essentials.
Yes.
What she does for me, because I forget things a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so I feel like cruise prep starts when you check in for your cruise. So on the Disney Cruise Line website or app, you can check in for your cruise. Now, they've recently changed this. I believe it's recently, post-pandemic. They changed when you can check in for your cruise. So they made it to where you're basically treated at a higher level when you cruise with them longer. So status has become a part of the check-in process.
Right.
So it used to be, I think, everyone, no matter what status you had, you checked in 30 days before the cruise. Now they stagger it. So Here we go. Pearl Cruisers, which is the newest and top tier status with Disney Cruise Line, and concierge guests. So you can be a first-time cruiser but book a concierge room. You'll be treated as a Pearl guest in this scenario. Okay, you'll check in 40 days prior to your sail date, 38 days for platinum, 35 days for gold, 33 days for silver, and 30 days for first-time sailors. So again, it benefits to be higher tier. That makes sense, right? They're trying to add perks for those higher tiers. I understand that. But again, it's kind of a bummer for first-time cruisers because you're not going to get access to as many things. And I'll get into why everyone wants to check in as early as possible.
Right. Okay.
Not so much about port adventures. It's your arrival time.
Yeah,
so
the timing is so important.
Yes. So the sooner you basically check in, the earlier your boarding group will be. But for some folks, it doesn't matter, like us, actually, which I just realized, we're doing, which I'll get into transportation a little bit, we're taking Disney Cruise Line transportation from our hotel to the cruise port. We're kind of at their, like, they get to decide when we show up to the port. It doesn't matter how early we got
And I
thing.
feel like from our experience with staying on property, we normally get there at a pretty reasonable time. Isn't it usually around, like, lunchtime?
Yeah, I would say 11 to noon.
Yeah, but on the flip side, let's say you're driving in because you're local. When you're able to get on the ship is super important because if you want to have lunch, if you want to be able to explore the ship before it takes off and goes on the adventure that you're about to go on, if you get there later in the cruise, all the food areas are kind of closed because they're prepping for dinner. So it's really important.
It is, yeah. And I think, again, don't sweat it too much if you get a later, and I'll tell you in a second here why you can or how you can get a later boarding time on accident. But don't sweat it too much because, again, there's almost always food available. It's just it stinks when you get there and they're wrapping down cabanas or something and you're like, great, I'm stuck with, like, I don't know, the leftovers or something.
Right.
Again, my thing is, hey, if I'm paying all that money and, we're getting ready to go on this big vacation, I want to take advantage of as much time as I can on that ship. And it would stink to lose out on 4 or 5 hours because we showed up late or what have you.
Right.
Okay, so check-in day can be a frustrating experience to say the least. This is another area where Disney really needs to beef up their technology because there's really no excuse as to why their system can't handle people checking in for their cruise. It's a little silly in my opinion, but that's for another discussion. Check-in opens up 12 a.m. Eastern time. I almost said East Coast time, Eastern time. So it's a very late night for those on the East Coast if they want to check in right when they're able to. And not so bad for us people in California and such over here on the Pacific area. But Disney's website consistently has issues when it comes time to check in. So this upcoming cruise we're going on, it took us how long?
I think an hour and a half, right?
Longer than that. I thought it was like close to 3.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like we couldn't get on, it wouldn't load, or like it would load, but then it would freeze, and then it would just have the loading circle keep going. Then it would log Caleb out, and then we would get on, and then it wouldn't let us check in. It would just give us our like itinerary. It was really weird.
It was really weird. We had 3 devices open doing this. I had an iPad, my phone, and I think your phone.
Yeah.
And we're just updating everything. And yes, I think 2.5-ish, 3 hours in, finally it worked. And then this is where it's important to have all of your information handy when it's time to check in. So make sure to have your travel details ready. Of course, like I think it's going to ask for birth dates and very basic things like that. Mm-hmm. But the things you have to have it asks for are your flight information if you're flying in, hotel accommodations, and passports.
Right.
So once your passport information, they want pictures of your passport. They want a picture of you for your security photo, which is going to be used routinely. Caitlin, why don't you tell them what
Yes.
happened last cruise?
And it's very embarrassing. So it's like it's almost like a passport photo that they take. It's just shoulders up.
We take it, right?
And yeah, we take it. And it has to be like, you can't have glasses on. You can't be wearing a hat. No mini ears, like up against a plain wall. So I thought, oh, this is for like, I don't know. They just want like an extra picture of you to make sure that you are who you say you are. No, this is the picture that they scan your card on every little thing you do on the Disney cruise. They see that picture, and I looked like a potato.
And this was because we again were like still getting used. I think it was only our second cruise when this happened, and so we were still kind of trying to get used to the process. We didn't
Yeah.
know what to expect, and so right when I was able to get in, it was pretty late our time. Caitlin had already taken a shower, gotten ready for bed, so she's in pajamas. Her hair's all wet.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Get against the wall! I need to take a picture of you." And so she was a little upset that was the picture used the rest of the
Oh
trip.
my gosh. It was more like, at first I'm like, oh my gosh, how is that the picture? Because I saw it on one of the screens when they scan your card. And I'm like, this is the most embarrassing. Because in my mind, I'm like, these cast members are like, we're checking out, like buying merch. And they're like, oh, whoa. She's-
Someone was ready for bed. No,
But hey, you look back at it now, you're like, that was hilarious.
Who cares?
So,
Yeah.
No one cares. It shouldn't be, it's not high priority of importance. So I'm just being silly.
That's all right. Hey, remember to schedule. A big thing is to schedule your transportation to and from the airport before your arrival. So, again, Magical Express does not exist anymore. So if you plan on staying on property like we are, we're going to stay there a couple of nights. We fly in around dinner time, I think, the first day.
And then we have a full day there, and then Disney Springs, and then it's time for the cruise.
Yeah, the full day is Disney Springs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to be doing some shopping.
Yep.
Maybe hit up a restaurant or two and then head back because
Yes.
it's going to be hot.
Yes. The one thing I really, really want to do is I want to go over to, is it Sasagula in Port Orleans?
Yeah, Sasagula. I don't remember the
Flats
name.
or something.
Yeah.
But it's basically where they serve beignets, because if you did not know this, it is the only place on Disney property, period, that has gluten-free beignets. And they are absolutely amazing.
They're very good. So we'll make a special trip to that. So yeah,
Yes.
we're going to use it as a very chill, relaxed day.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's besides the point. You have to get from the airport to your hotel. Again, Magical Express does not exist anymore. You can't, it's not a free service. So you have to use something called Mears Connect. Is it Sunshine, what's that called?
Sunshine Flyer.
Sunshine Flyer. That's another company.
Yeah.
There's Uber, Lyft, I'm sure a couple of other private
The
transportation companies.
minivans are back now.
Yeah, exactly. So there are those things. Just to keep in mind, you have to budget for those. They're a cost, and you have to plan ahead for half of those options. So the Mears Connect, you've got to book in advance. Sunshine Flyer, Uber and Lyft, you can do at the airport. It's just going to cost you a little bit more, but we plan on doing that just because I like the flexibility and the private nature of it.
Yeah, and a couple things I wanted to add. So, number one, Mears Connect. So the old buses that Disney Cruise Line used to use to get you from, or whatever, just to the hotels, or whether it's the ship, whatever it is, it's the same buses. They just don't have the Disney wrap around them, and the cast members aren't there. They aren't very magical. Like when you get on, they're just like, "Hey, how's it going?" They load your stuff, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But you are on the same bus. And second of all, always remember that if you do book that, you are not going straight to your hotel. So, like, let's say you're staying at the Contemporary. You don't get picked up from the airport and go straight to the Contemporary. Like, you have multiple
Yeah,
stops.
yeah.
And unfortunately, depending on where you're staying, you could be on that bus for like an hour.
Yeah,
And
we've
so-
seen multiple YouTube videos, people on there an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Just making their way around the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
While Disney World is going to 4 or 5 different stops before yours. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we've generally been pretty lucky. We usually are only on them for like 30 to 40 minutes, but like still, it's we're usually starving when we land in Florida, and we're waiting to get out, get to the hotel so we can go and eat. So it's like, just keep that in mind if you do have little ones, or if whatever you need to do, it's not a quick trip.
Pack snacks.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, so we're also using Disney transportation to get to the port from our hotel and taking it back to the airport once we're back from the cruise. That is another thing you have to book. So there's a ton of transportation. So not to confuse you, there's transportation to and from the airport if you're staying on at a hotel before your cruise, and then you've got to get from your hotel to the cruise port which is an added cost and another booking thing you have to handle. So you can do this through the Disney Cruise Line website, or if you used a travel agent, Costco Travel, whatever, they'll handle it for you. But it's something you have to plan for. It's around $78 per person round trip.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that
I
crazy?
had no idea it was that expensive.
Yeah, so nearly $160.
What did it used to be when Disney was doing it? Do you know?
Well, Disney's. Oh, I don't know who does this one.
Oh, this is like the actual one. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is it Disney?
I think so.
I don't know.
My goodness, that's expensive.
It's very expensive.
$80?
Yeah.
Oh
Round
my
trip.
gosh. I mean, again, I know if you do an Uber, it's roughly going to be around the same price because you're talking round trip, but I'm like, still, that's like sticker
It'd
shock.
be more. It's about an hour away from Disney World. So
Oh,
that's probably
wow.
$60 to $70 one way.
And they'll probably slap it with this is peak time, extra 20.
Oh, yeah. And you're
For
getting
sure.
picked up from Disney World. So they're like 10% resort charge.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's a joke. Hey, remember to bring your Disney Visa if you have one. You can get 10% off merchandise on the ships if you're spending $50 or more. A big key thing here is to visit the guest services desk for a little sticker that they'll put on your Key to the World card that indicates you get a discount.
Yes, and we figured that out on our Alaska cruise.
Yes, we didn't know that was a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I just happened to have the Disney Visa on me, and so someone was like, hey, do you have a Disney Visa card? And I was like, yes, and they won't give you the discount if you don't have that sticker. That's the
Yeah.
weird thing. You can't just flash it and then go, okay, I get the discount. You have to have the little sticker on your Key to the World card.
And again, the cast member at the desk at the merch shop will not give you the sticker. You have to go to guest services.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Remember to check in for your flight, of course. This is kind of a dumb moment. But my big advice here is to keep an eye on the airline's app for possible delays and cancellations. Travel, I think I'm talking to a bunch of people that already know this. Travel's been unbelievably crazy the last few months. It's just cancellations up the wazoo. Delays. It's just been bad. So
Yeah, not
download the airline's app just to make sure you're on top of everything and get those important notifications. And then finally, I think my biggest tip for you and what not to forget when it comes to travel and travel prep is your passports and your port arrival document. So this is a form you get. You can either print it off, you can pull up the email, or they've made it even more convenient. If you have an iPhone, you can add it to your wallet app. And it's basically something they're going to scan that pulls your profile up essentially when you go to check in at the cruise port. And that's very important to have. It's not the end of the world if you forget that, but it makes the cast member's job much harder.
Right.
And they don't like it. They don't appreciate that. We were sitting next to someone last cruise that forgot their port arrival form, and it just took them an extra probably 10 minutes to get checked in without that document.
Right. And you may think, well, it's only an extra 10 minutes, but if you multiply that by thousands of people.
Yeah, and just
a
be a
lot.
good person. Just bring it if you can. And then, yes, the passport thing, you're not getting on that ship without that passport. That is the
No.
most important. That's not a oops, bummer, can I get a picture sent? No, you're not going. You're
Yeah.
not going under vacation without your passport, so make sure to bring that.
That would be such a bummer.
That would be so.
my
That is the
gosh.
biggest. I literally check my backpack 18 times before we leave the house to make sure those two things are in there.
The unfortunate part is people have done it.
Oh yeah. Do you imagine flying across the country? For us, right? We're from California. Flying across the country, and you get to the cruise port, and you're like, "We're not getting on this thing."
I literally can't imagine.
Yeah.
I would cry. I would just sit there
you
and cry.
probably lose your. I'm assuming you lose your cruise fare. They're not going to be like, "Oh, bummer, man."
Yeah, because it's your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like they took your passport.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
gosh. I can't imagine.
I don't even want to imagine. Please don't speak that into existence. Okay, now we've pretty much gotten past the boring stuff. Let's talk packing. But
Yeah.
before I do, there's one more maybe section we should have mentioned here, and this is like personal care before your cruise.
Oh.
I sent Caitlin off
You
because I know it's very
did.
important to her. It's very important. Me, I personally don't understand it. Some, I've been once, and I'm going to allude to what I'm talking about here in a second. But Caitlin went and got a manicure and pedicure today.
Yes.
She
I
just got back
did.
from it. Her skin smelled delicious.
Oh my goodness. Well, it did actually.
It
They
did. It
use,
smelled like
gummy
fruity
bears.
gummy bear stuff.
Yeah, they use like a sugar scrub. So rewind a little bit. Caleb is so sweet. I don't know why. I'm not someone who gets like my nails and stuff done like all the time. Like I have friends who go like literally every month and get it redone.
You maybe go 3 times a year, and I almost have to force you to go.
Yeah.
Because you feel bad about it.
Yeah, like I normally always get my toes done for summer because I'm like, again, I always wear sandals and stuff. But my nails, it's usually only like special vacations or like trips. Other than that, I'm kind of like, I'm okay. But Caleb was so sweet. He surprised me with his manicure and pedicure, and it was so nice being able just to sit there and kind of just relax and just sit there and just be so excited for the trip. So thank you. You're the best.
Caitlin, I didn't bring it up for thanking.
No, you brought it up to make fun of me because you think it's silly that
I don't think it's silly. I've gone once. I went with a friend actually, and it was nice.
Yeah.
It was a very nice experience. I like massage type things, right? So I get like really bad headaches often, unfortunately.
Yep.
And so I like going to like get the like, you can get every knot out of me. I don't care if you have to hit me with a hammer.
Right.
Whatever it takes, that's what I value. So I kind of save my personal care funds for more of a massage versus I don't know, what is
Nails.
that? Nails?
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I'm not into massages. I mean, again, when we've gotten them on like a Disney cruise, like
Those are
those
awesome.
are amazing.
They're so expensive.
But like other than that, like I would never ask Caleb like, "Hey, let's go get a massage." Like I would just buy him one and surprise him with it. But yeah, for some reason, I'm just not that into that kind of stuff.
let us know at home. What are you into? All right, would you rather go get your nails done or get a massage?
Or a facial, like facials, I would love. Like I've
Yeah.
only had one in my entire life, and it was magical.
What?
Yes, only one.
Oh man, I'm slacking.
No,
All
it's
right.
not. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet.
4th of July treat. Okay, let's talk packing for the cruise. What are the essentials?
Yes. So number one, first of all, I created a list for you, and there's no order to this list. This is just a couple of things I put together that I think are just important.
Yeah, and we didn't include like the okay, bring shirts,
Yes.
bring shorts.
But please bring those because if not, they will not let you on the cruise or let you walk around
I
without
was just
them.
planning on bringing just shorts. That was it.
Well, you could do that. We can't.
I don't think they'd let me on the ship without a shirt on.
Not walking in, but you can walk around without one on.
Yeah, I'm not planning on doing that. Let's just get off the subject. Okay, what are we packing?
And one more thing, I am such a list person. Every single trip, I write down all of Caleb's stuff, even though he doesn't ask me to. I just do it. And then I write down all of my stuff, toiletries, don't forget column, like must-haves. I plan my outfits out. Like I do everything.
It does help.
I love the list, especially right now during pregnancy. I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago, let alone what I'm going to do in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's nice to have. So these are a couple things that I compiled all from my massive long list of things that we're going to be bringing. And these are things that are somewhat specific to maybe a warmer cruise.
Okay.
And just a couple things where I'm like, you definitely need to bring these because if you don't, something...
Yes, and let me tell you, this is definitely a warmer cruise list because the list would look entirely different. Our Alaska cruise, we brought how many bags? 3 bags?
Yeah, that one was tricky too because we had a ton of stuff because of all the like cold gear we had.
Yeah,
to
so that's what
bring.
I'm trying to say is that an Alaskan cruise is going to look way different than a Bohemian cruise. So
Right.
just keep that in mind.
Right.
Let's get into it.
So, other than clothes and shoes and like swimsuits and such, the first thing that I would recommend bringing is some sort of we use Liquid IV. We've had a couple listeners reach out and mention some different drink options that they use, but it's basically something with like electrolytes in it. Is it Liquid IV that we use? Does it have vitamin C as well as like zinc?
Yeah, the one we use is like an immune booster. They have like energy ones. We
Yeah.
use the immune booster one. You can buy them at Costco. It's a giant bag
Yeah.
for like, I don't know.
Again, if you haven't heard of this, it's just something that keeps you hydrated, which is extremely important during Florida season, Bohemian time in like June, July. You can so easily just get dehydrated because you're just sweating nonstop. So being able to stay hydrated and have those electrolytes, and then not only that, but have zinc and vitamin C. The cruise line is filled with germs, and usually we always come back with something. So just get preparing yourself for that and just kind of just trying to stay healthy as you can. Again,
Yeah, and they're little packets, so it's not like you're bringing bottles of anything.
No,
They're little
yeah.
packets. You pour them into a cup of water or a bottle of water, shake it around, and you've got yourself a little electrolyte drink. Think of it as basically healthier Gatorade.
Yeah.
It's not loaded with sugar like Gatorade is, even though it's delicious. I
We
love
love it.
Gatorade. But the Liquid IV tastes really good, and it's just a healthier option.
Yeah.
So we feel good about bringing that because it helps us stay, like Caitlin said, hydrated.
yeah, and it's nice to drink on like a super hot day too.
Yeah.
I love it.
It has a little bit of flavor, but you don't feel bad like you're not drinking soda.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. We usually take it to the parks as well. But next up, one of the most important items I feel, especially right now with like just being pregnant in general, is a handheld fan. One thing that I did want to note is you are not allowed to bring like plug-in like big box fans onto the cruise line. That's against the rules.
Yeah.
We brought in what's the brand? Is it Honeywell?
No, it wasn't Honeywell. We just brought a cheap, like what do you call it? It had a little like, oh, how do clamp on it? It had a little clamp on the end. It was a mini fan.
For a room.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it had a regular plug, like a 110,
Yeah.
right? And so they did not allow that to go on because I need to sleep with white noise. I need white noise, and
Same.
the fan helps as well, not only with noise, but also keeps some air circulating.
Yeah.
So they were like, no, you can't bring this on, but I've brought little USB-powered fans. They're about half the size, and they're USB-powered. No problem with those.
Yeah, those
So-
are totally fine.
You can bring those.
So those are great, as well as the ones that you see everyone taking to the parks, the one you hold in your hand. You can bring them to Castaway Cay. You can bring them to wherever you're at, just even walking around the ship. They do make a difference.
They do. And we had some people recommend, which we didn't probably buy them in time. Maybe Amazon could get them here sooner. But the ones that you put around your neck, and you don't even have to hold them. They
I
just blow up straight at your
forgot.
face. I know.
I totally forgot.
But those are awesome options too for a hot
Okay.
cruise, and you're just walking around, you're sitting on the, sunbathing or something. You
Yeah.
got a fan blowing in your face.
Yeah, because it's going to be a warm one. Next up I wanted to touch very lightly on just change of clothes for the heat. Again, obviously you're bringing clothes for every day to wear, but the most important thing is just to remember you're going to be sweating a lot in these clothes. If you're someone who can go the full day in clothes that you've been sweating in, totally good. I, however, cannot do that. I like wearing like clean clothes. So usually when it's super hot, when we go to Florida, I have an outfit that I'll wear like usually like the first half of the day. And then when we go back to the hotel room to kind of take a break, or we're showering or whatever it may be, because that Florida heat is so intense, I'll usually change. Usually Caleb will do the same thing as well. So just a like extra recommendation of like, hey, if you want to feel like fresh, sometimes like the clothes just smell and like they're damp.
At
and
least
just
a
gross.
shirt. At least a shirt.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm sweating the most. And again, you may be like, hey, we just do laundry on the ship. If you're those people that can do that,
That's awesome.
That is awesome. For some reason, it's a mental block for me. I'm weird. I can't use like public laundry stuff.
Yeah.
I just can't get past it. I don't know why. I don't know what was in that laundry, that washer before me. I've got no idea.
We had one issue when we used the laundromat. Caleb's shirt got like super stained, and it was a whole thing where like Disney Cruise Line was awesome and like helped us out with it.
They fixed it for me, but it did ruin my shirt, which was kind of
Yeah.
a bummer. But anyways, yeah, it's a mental thing. So I can't get there, but we just bring extra clothes. It means for an extra checked bag and stuff, which is kind of lame. But if you're the type that you're like, I don't care, I'll throw it in the washer. Dude, do
Totally
it.
fine.
Because their laundry services are actually pretty sweet.
It's awesome, and they bring them in for you, and they're all ironed, and they put them in your room, in your closet, which is awesome. Yeah, I highly recommend if you like that kind of stuff. Next up I have is a Dramamine or a C-band type of thing. For those who don't know, I usually get super motion sick in the car, and so does Caleb. So when we originally started going on Disney Cruise Line, we were super worried that we were going to get seasick. So we started off with our C-bands. We love them. And then this most recent cruise onto Alaska, there was one night where you go out into open water, and it's extremely rough seas.
It was rough.
And I think you recommended like, oh, hey, let's go check in one of the gift shops if they have like Dramamine. They did, and they had a less drowsy one. Didn't make us tired at all, and it took every ounce of like seasickness away. It was absolutely amazing.
Yes, and I'm almost positive, correct me if I'm wrong, listener, if you email me or something like that and you're like, no, they don't do that anymore. But at one point, I know for sure, they offered free Dramamine down at the like medical center.
They still do.
Okay, they have a little thing, but it's the full drowsy version.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to feel drowsy, either cut it in half and just take half the dose, or again, like Caitlin mentioned, in the gift shop, they sell a less drowsy version. It's basically a half dose, and that worked fine for us, and I didn't feel drowsy. It was awesome.
It was awesome. It was one of those things where it worked within maybe 20, 30 minutes, so there was no complaint there. And yes, the thing that Caleb was speaking about, it's downstairs. It's the medical center.
Yeah, I think it's on like deck 2, I think, on all the ships.
And from what I remember correctly, there's a little thing, like a little box outside the door where you can just grab it and go. Like,
Okay.
you don't have to pay for it.
Or deck 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, the less drowsy version, it's not that much money. I think it's less than $10. And
Even
there's,
on the
like-
ship, it was only $6.
Yeah, it's not that bad at all.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
awesome. And then again, we love the C-bands. Caleb usually can go without them, but I just wear them just in case. It's a mental thing.
They hurt my wrist after a while.
They do, but I think I just feel better with them on
Sure,
my wrists.
I get that.
So even though I'm sure we'll be fine. But next up is water bottles. Some of you might go, why would you do that? You were on a cruise with all beverages and cups and all sorts. The only thing I would mention with that is in the beverage areas, for those who have or haven't gone on the cruise, the water cups that they give for beverages are very small. And usually you have to go back multiple times to refill them, especially if you're trying to get your H2O in. We have to go back multiple times just to fill up because they're super tiny. I would say maybe they're like 8 to 10 ounces.
They're so small. And we're used to, I work from home. Caitlin works right down the street in an office where they have water readily available.
Oh, yeah, we chug water.
We're so used to just like chugging water all day long. We've got
Yeah.
these big Yeti cups that we fill up. And so when you go on a cruise ship with, like Caitlin said, little 8-ounce cups, that does not cut it. So
No.
I'm standing up constantly at meals, just filling it up.
Yeah.
And so you bring a nice, decent sized water bottle, not something too big where you're clunking around,
Yeah.
but something to where you can actually get 24 ounces of water in. That makes the world of difference, especially at night when you wake up like thirsty. Where are you going to go?
Yes, because it's like you don't want to walk up to the top deck
No.
and like have to get water. And I don't know, like tell me if you guys are the same way. I'm the person, if I don't have water, I automatically freak out even though I'm not thirsty.
Yes.
So it's one of those where like it's just nice to have, especially when you go to Castaway Cay. If you're on the beach, bring your water bottle. Disney's totally okay with it. It's just a great option. They do have water bottles that you can buy on the cruise. Just keep in mind, if you want to bring your own, you can do that. Next up, I have sunscreen. And this might be a duh moment, but I can't tell you how many people I have seen super, super red and just absolutely sunburned on the cruise literally the first day.
We forgot it. I think our first cruise, we had to go buy it.
I think we did.
Yeah,
and
it
it's
was
one
like,
of those things
it's
where
expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive on the cruise, and there's only like 2 brands. So if you do have sensitive skin, keep that in mind. They don't have like the fancy.
No, it's like copper tone. It's the most basic you can get, which most people are probably fine with, but Caitlin's got more sensitive skin.
Yep.
So we buy the fancy foo-foo stuff.
I like break out to everything.
Yes.
They do have baby sunscreen though for all the parents out there, so they do have that on there, which is awesome.
And we had to, heads up. Actually, I'm just not in the notes, but you had to order special sunscreen because you're pregnant.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. We had to
Yes.
buy like mineral sunscreen.
Yes, mineral sunscreen. I have it all ready, and I'm so excited to use all of them. For those who don't know, Supergoop has really great options for that. And
It was only $89.
No,
I'm just
he's
kidding.
kidding. It was not. But people, again, I know some people have their views on sunscreen, whether they want to wear it or not. If it's coming from us, we are such just huge people on wearing sunscreen. It's so good for you just to keep the UV rays out and you're not getting burned. I can't tell you how miserable you are when you're sunburned like that. And then it's day one, especially on the days that you're going to an island multiple days, you're going to be hurting.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad about it. I'm not going to lie. I don't burn very easily, so I've never, like growing up, I never just thought of sunscreen. But after we got married, Caitlin was like, you're wearing sunscreen.
Yeah.
So I'm a little better about it now, and I know the long-term effects of just UV stuff. So anyways, sunscreen, bring it. If you don't, you're stuck with the cheaper stuff on the cruise line, and you're going to be paying like $25 for the bottle.
Super expensive.
And it's not that good of stuff. So anyways, yes, sunscreen.
To follow sunscreen, another thing that we always bring is a hat. This is just a great thing to have. Again, it keeps the sun off your head. It does get hot on the top deck if you're reading or you're tanning, whatever you're doing, just walking around playing mini golf. It's nice to have a hat on as well as the island. Or if you're just walking around, you want to just quickly throw your hair up and not have to worry about it. They're nice to have. And Disney Cruise Line has some of the cutest hats. I want to get another one.
I have a feeling we'll come back with 2 or 3 hats.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite hats is from there. It's perfect. So, a couple more things. One newer thing to us is magnets for our cruise line door.
Yeah, Caitlin finally bought me some magnets for the door. We've gone undecorated for the last 3 cruises, and now finally we're decorating our cruise door. So thanks to Caitlin, we are going to make that happen. They actually came in today.
They did come in today. We're super excited. I'll have to put them on stories to show everybody. They look amazing. And for those who don't know, let's rewind a little bit. Caleb didn't want to have magnets for a couple of those cruises. And then once we were on one, he was like, we should get magnets. And I'm
Maybe
like,
it's because
oh.
I spent all this money on this cruise stuff, and then when you're leading up to the cruise, I'm like, no more buying stuff for it. We're good. And then once you make it on, you're like, I feel left out.
Yeah, because everyone decorates.
Everyone decorates.
So again, it's a great way to just bring personality and just fun to your door. It can be themed based on holiday or whatever kind of occasion you guys are celebrating. We got a couple character ones and we're so excited to use them. So if you would like to do that, definitely look at Etsy. There are many options.
Yes, and plan ahead. They take a while to get here. They're small shops. I get it. They're, small businesses. They don't have the power of Amazon to get there
No, yeah.
to your door 2 days later. So it took nearly 2 weeks to get here to the house. So just keep
Yeah.
that in mind before your trip.
Yeah. And then last up, something that's super important for all of those people who have allergies, like Caleb. Disney Cruise Line has a great assortment of food options for you guys. However, the snack department is extremely limited. So if you're a person who likes having, let's say, I'm going to use gluten-free snacks as an example. Caleb likes having gluten-free pretzels or cookies or like little crackers.
They've got cookies for me. It's just I want something like a little less like Yeah, I'm trying not to eat too much junk. Trust me, I partake in a ton when we're on the ship. But there's sometimes when I'm like, I want something that's not loaded with sugar. So
Yeah.
I want like little healthier options that I can have.
Yeah, and it's not even about that per se. It's just more of like the snack option is cookies. So that's pretty much it. So
That's
if you
true.
ever want like crackers and cheese, I do not believe they have crackers on the cruise line. So it's just something to keep in mind if
Gluten
you
free. They have normal crackers.
correct.
Yeah.
That is true. So if you have a member in your family who has a dietary restriction, just pack some of their their favorite snacks and just bring them on board. One of our like favorite things to do is go back to their room and have snacks on the balcony, and like whether it's like Nilla wafers or pretzels or like little cookies that we love. It's just fun.
It is a blast. And I'm a child, so my diet consists of pretzels pretty much and vanilla wafers.
Yes.
Except they're made, the gluten-free version are double the price, by the way, and the brand's like Kinnick. It's really fun to say.
Kinnick, yeah.
Kinnick. Something like that.
But yes, so overall, those are like our top things for this upcoming cruise. Again, they will change over time and we'll definitely let you know. But for this one specifically, this is what we're looking for. And also, really quickly, thank you so much to everyone that reached out regarding what to bring on a cruise. I had so many of you recommend amazing things for pregnancy, like pillows and different things to bring on. I really appreciate that because, as you all know, I've never been a parent before. So that was very helpful.
Yeah. And you also bought, what do you call them? Compression socks. That was a good
Yes.
recommendation from someone. So we bought those.
Mhm.
I know you're supposed to like stand up every hour, I think, on the flight.
Yes, that's what the doctor was saying on the long flights.
Yeah, so that's a whole different beast, folks. If you're traveling, I'm sure, again, a lot of you know this already, but traveling pregnant, being on vacation pregnant, it's just a different beast. So we've had to do a lot of research, and you guys
Yeah.
have helped a ton. So thank you so much for those personal recommendations.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're prepped.
We're
I mean, now
so
we actually
excited.
have to go do all these things.
I know. I'm so excited, you guys. I can't wait to tell you guys all about it.
I'm getting a little
Seriously.
stressed. I don't like packing.
I know.
So
We have to pack yet.
yeah, we'll get there. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Again, if you're not maybe going on a cruise next week, hopefully in the next couple of years, you guys can make it happen. You can refer back to this episode and pack all those essentials. Hey, you can find us over on Instagram at Market House Podcast. Make sure to follow us over there for pictures from the park and exciting news and announcements. Especially now, you're going to see a ton of cruise photos, videos, what have you, from this recent trip. Consider leaving a review on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Huge help to the show. Remember to use our Getaway Today link for your future trip bookings. You can check out the episode details for that link. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.